Alexi B is the most controversial player to ever be a member of Born to Win. His career says more than he does. The captain, who was almost sent off with a sigh of relief. The IGL, who has the lowest 2.0 rating of any captain in Tier 1. But is it really all about him? What difficulties did he have to overcome? And why did Navi finally believe in a not-so-reliable player? Long before Alexi B lifted the Copenhagen Major Trophy, he was just an ordinary 18-year-old from Finland who liked to play CS at various stakes. At the end of 2015, Alexi B received an invitation to join his first professional team, Recursive Esports, where Happy, Kenny's, and others had started. Later, he joined Vindictus, an organization that didn't have any special results and didn't stay on the scene for long. However, the participation in various tournaments gave them the opportunity to make a name for themselves. ENCE, the top one Finnish esports organization, did not fail to take advantage of this opportunity. ENCE 2016 was not yet ready to win major titles or awards. The organization was on the verge of bankruptcy and was trying its best to find a panacea for this situation. The Finns were able to win the IESF World Championship 2016 and get second place at the Nordic Championship. But obviously, this was not enough, so the organization decided to stop its activities. Alexi found a new place in Encore, which was later bought by Havu Gaming, a young and little-known Finnish organization. Alexi stayed under Havu's wing for almost a year, but in March 2018, an event happened that would change Alexi Virolainen's life forever. After the recent breakup, ENCE decided to go big and signed a partnership with one of the Finnish hockey clubs. Before that, they signed a 2-year contract with Alu, who had already been a finalist of the major with NIP and was considered one of the strongest snipers of the time. They planned to build the rest of our team around him. It should be noted that Alu was not only a player, but also one of the shareholders of the organization, and this point will play a role in the future. And so, the roster was formed, but none of the CS figures considered him potentially threatening, and HLTV placed them on the 193rd place of their top. At this point, let's move away from Alexi's career line and talk a little bit about his playstyle, specifically the IGL position he was recruited to play in ENCE. His basic idea is that it is much better to spend most of your time preparing, training, and working as a team rather than constantly changing players in the hope of creating a golden squad that will play right away. Virolainen realizes that the chance of that happening is extremely unlikely, so this concept has been his since then and up until now. Even if it takes a year or more for the team to show some results, Alexi will take advantage of it and avoid player changes as much as possible. It didn't work with everyone, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's get back to ENCE. ENCE's new lineup made a strong showing on the Tier 2 to 3 stage, giving other teams almost no chance. On top of that, the team participated in ESL 1 Cologne 2018, where they performed quite successfully, and literally 3 months later, they managed to get their first win on the Tier 1 level at Star Series and I-League Season 6. Yes, there were not many grandees at this tournament, such as Astralis and Liquid, but it was one of the first good results for the team. At the beginning of 2019, the IEM Katowice took place, which was also a major this year. ENCE, captained by Alexi B, reached the grand final.
You don't want to be that player, but Al is finding that confidence. Oh, he manages to hit it as well. Can he get the follow-up? It might not matter. It's a 5-on-3 with 30 seconds remaining. I think they might have done it. Zeus and Simple with it all to do here. And not even the best can save them. It's a 1-on-5 for Zeus. And is this man ever going to win a major? The deep breath. He got one with Gambit, but will he get one with Navi? That's what he's wanted. He went back for a reason, but ENCE is going to deny. The Finns, the kings of candidates. They're through!
Losing to Astralis, who dominated all possible tournaments this year. At this tournament, the Finns became a real fan favorite. They defeated the Grandees, and the Finnish band, the Verkars, recorded the legendary track Easy for ENCE, which would become the unofficial anthem of TAG and CSGO.
It's ENCE!
Easy for ENCE, 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 ENCE,
Interestingly, the cooperation and friendship between Alexi B and the Verkars did not end there. They will show themselves in 2024. By the way, we talked about ENCE's comeback against Liquid in the quarterfinals and the second part of the comebacks. The link is on your screen and in the description of the video. During the break before the next major, ENCE continued to gain experience and trophies. A win at the Blast Pro Series in Madrid.
Alexi's in red with 10 HP, but the opportunities are running out. Look where the bomb is, it's so exposed. Is this how it ends, Dan? Zipex versus 2. Championship point for ENCE, 12 seconds to collect the bomb. We've got Alexi B by oil, and that's it. ENCE are your champions. They've 2-0 Nostralis.
A 3-4 place at the CS Summit 4, and silver medals at DreamHack Masters Dallas 2019 and IEM Chicago. Everything seemed to be going well, but not everyone thought so. Remember when we told you about Alu? Well, he was not only a player and a shareholder, but also a Sunny friend. He was one of the most popular Finnish players of his time, and on top of that, he was also a pretty close friend of Alu. The two wanted to play together again, but they first had to find a place in the team for Sunny. Constant second places became one of the factors that were used to prepare a place for Sunny. After all, it was obvious that if the team doesn't show good results, the problem is with the captain. And during the StarLadder Berlin Major, it became known that Alexi B would leave ENCE. On the one hand, it was said that Alexi B's departure had been discussed since the summer of 2019, but Sunny could join the team only in the fall. On the other hand, there were statements that Alexi simply did not have time to sign a contract for the extension of cooperation in time, and ENCE was quickly looking for someone to join in order to make it to the reshuffle window. And Alu himself said that this decision was unanimous from the whole team.
I was also part of it, of course, but it was not solely me, obviously. I am not a dictator who decides everything and how everything needs to go.
Which his former teammate Sergey would later make doubt. However, these events not only gave Alexi probably his most memorable photo, but also motivated him to achieve the main trophy in the discipline, a victory at the Major. At that time, OG decided to enter the CSGO scene, as they already had the strongest roster in Dota 2. Having the money and having assembled what they considered to be a good team, OG immediately decided to sign all possible collaborations to participate in various competitions as much as possible. But then the pandemic that spread across the planet put a spoke in their wheels. Because of this, one of the players, Isa, was forced to return home to Jordan and play all the matches with a ping of about 100. These and a number of other combined factors did not allow OG from Alexi B to receive major awards. However, there is no doubt that Alexi B made a lot of efforts to secure OG on the Tier 1 scene. For example, when Grenade Drop was added to CSGO in September 2021, Alexi was one of the first to actively use this mechanic, especially on Dust 2. For a long time, the Finn owned a grenade demo on one map. 2 years at OG were not enough to lead the team to the top 1 trophies. Alexi's greatest achievement during his time at OG was second place at Flashpoint Season 2. So OG and G2 signed an agreement to exchange captains in January 2022.
Alexi has to go above and beyond once again. This Force by War has continued, and it could be just a few moments away from breaking G2 yet again. Alexi's got to make a move here. Time is running so dry, so low. He feels like Tetris has been called off, but now he's going to find out. Oh my God! The flick to Hades' head. Is there enough time for the Finn?
He's got it!
There is! He's got it! Unbelievable!
According to the management of both clubs, such a reshuffle was to the benefit of everyone. Both OG and G2 had been lagging behind all season. And, in fact, Alexi B had no one to manage, because the Kovacs brothers are a separate ecosystem that is hard to influence. But as we said, G2 had no results, so in about 6 months, Alexi B went free again. That's how they said goodbye to their captain, IGL Top 3. This tweet hasn't aged well. As Extas would later say, Alexi B's worldview has every right to live, and it might have worked over the long haul with a complete reformatting of the team's vision, but those were risks the team was not ready to take. Besides, it contradicted the vision of Extas himself, who relied more on the individual capabilities of each player and a certain freedom in their actions, as opposed to Alexi B's more cohesive and clearly articulated plan. Before joining Navi, the player sought refuge with NIP. The NIP even had to switch to English language communication. However, even with them, he did not achieve any successful results. Additionally, a situation similar to the one at ENCE occurred again, when Hampus returned from sick leave and wanted to play for NIP again. In a later Thorin podcast, Config revealed that everyone except Headtrick pushed for Alexi's removal, claiming that Hampus was superior. The decision to remove the Finn was considered one of the worst in the Dane's career.
It was one of the worst decisions I've ever been a part of making in my entire career.
Currently, Alexi has not won any significant championships in ENCE and has captained 3 other teams without success. He has been removed from all of them. Why did Navi's management, Blade, and others decide to hire Alexi B? Perhaps they believe that despite his shortcomings, including his fluctuating 0.86 to 1.05 to 2.0 rating from HLTV during this period, he was the type of player that would fit well with Blade's style. Specifically, he was a skilled player and an effective communicator who could provide clear and accurate information to the team during rounds. Natus Vincere's journey began with criticism from haters who doubted the team's potential for success. They predicted that Alexi B would leave the team within a few months if they failed to achieve satisfactory results, and even suggested that he considered retiring from gaming altogether. However, the team's hard work and dedication paid off, as evidenced by their current success. Perhaps Navi's victory at the major was lucky, but as the saying goes, luck favors the prepared. The story is reminiscent of a Hollywood biopic. The team won the major as an underdog after the departure of its star player, with not the best statistics. Most players received criticism after the tournament. Ime and Alexi had the worst ratings, while JL was called a Tier 2 bot.
2 weeks ago I was reading comments how I'm a Tier 2 bot and I'll never reach anything in life, and now I'm the major champion. So who's talking now, bitch?
And Bit was deemed unfit for an English-speaking team. However, history has shown that Alexi and Blade's principles and ideas can transform weaker players into champions. Finn deserved the victory more than any other player on Navi. This is Alexi B's story. Please support us with likes, subscription, and the bell. Good game.